Hello YouTube, and welcome to another video by the Casual Airgunner. Today's video is going to be about picking an airgun to help you out during the zombie apocalypse if you're ever unfortunate enough to be involved in such an event. An airgun can be a great addition to your SHTF kit whether it includes firearms or not. This isn't to say they're substitute for firearms, because they aren't, but they do have a few advantages over firearms, and with modern airgun technology there are airguns out there that can do a firearms job. They just can't do them as well. But what would you do with an airgun in an SHTF situation? Well, you could use one to hunt for food, since I doubt grocery stores or Walmart would be fully stocked in the event of civilization's collapse. It would probably also help you kill zombies, which I'll actually be testing the viability of in this video. And lastly, as a last resort weapon against the bad fellow survivors who probably don't have your physical well-being as their #1 priority. Obviously, this isn't ideal. An airgun wasn't designed to be used on people, and it goes without saying that it's not the most effective weapon out there for that purpose. But with the right gun and the right choice of ammo, it can help you. But don't expect an airgun to act like a firearm. There are just physical limitations that just don't allow that to happen, no matter how much we want it to be that way. To demonstrate which types of airguns would be effective for the purposes we need them for, I'll be using these two test mediums right here. The first is 10% ballistics gel, which appears in most of the videos on this channel. This is used by law enforcement agencies to simulate human flesh when testing ballistics, so essentially whatever the pellets do to this material is what they do to a human body. It also gives insight as to whether an airgun would be suitable for hunting or not. The second medium is this wood plank right here to test whether an airgun could kill a zombie with a headshot. I'm using this fence board to simulate a skull since I don't have a readily available skull to use for testing, nor do I have the means to obtain one. So I'll be assuming whatever can pierce this fence board can also pierce a skull. If anybody has a better idea for a better analog, I'd be open to hear it. But enough talking for now, let's get to testing. The first gun I'll test is a CO2 pellet pistol. Now, most people know this gun isn't suitable for any of the three purposes we're looking for, and the gel on the fence board will say exactly why. Here's the pellet pistol versus the gel. As you can see, the pellet only went about 1.5 inches into the gel. That's the pellet right over there. And this is ignoring animal skin or human clothing, so as far as hunting and defense, the CO2 pellet pistol has 0 value. As far as to whether it can kill a zombie, let's see what the fence board has to say. No, that definitely did not go through. So what's the verdict? Well, CO2 pistols may be fun to shoot, but during an SHTF situation, just leave them at home. But what about a pneumatic air pistol? It's a lot more powerful, so it should do all three, right? Well, let's find out. Here we go, 10 pumps versus the gel block. So you can see the pneumatic air pistol did do a little better. The pellet did go in about 3.5, almost 4 inches. That's the pellet right over there. So as far as hunting is concerned, we're getting into the territory where it's plausible to take small game like maybe a squirrel, but I wouldn't try it with anything larger. As far as self-defense goes, I consider this horribly inadequate, especially since this is a single-shot gun. But could a well-placed shot from this gun at 10 pumps take out a zombie? Well, let's find out. No, it looks like that shot didn't go through either, although it's embedded in there pretty well. So what's the verdict on pneumatic air pistols? It might be able to take very small game like squirrels, but I wouldn't try for anything larger than that, and don't expect it to be protection from zombies or against other people. Since powerful air pistols can only hunt small game and have 0 value for protection against humans and zombies, let's move on to rifles. The Daisy Red Ryder BB gun over there is only about as powerful as that CO2 pellet pistol, so I already know it's not going to work. I'm not even going to bother testing that one. So that leaves us with a multi-pump pneumatic 177, aka this Daisy 880 right here, a brake barrel 22, aka this Gammo Swarm, and a pre-charged pneumatic 22, aka this Gammo Urban. Let's start off with the Daisy Powerline 880. Here we go, the Daisy Powerline 880 versus the gel block at 10 pumps. Now this is where things have started to get interesting, because unlike the other pellets where you see a straight line through the ballistics gel, you can actually see kind of a permanent wound cavity right here with the Daisy 880. This is significant in hunting because now you're reaching the point where your projectile starts to have some knockdown power to the small animal rather than just zipping through them and leaving a tiny wound channel. So I'd say with a 177 air rifle like this one, you could easily take birds, squirrels, and groundhogs. I wouldn't go up to raccoons, but maybe there's people out there who could make it work. I just know I can't. But how would it do against a zombie at 10 pumps? That was actually pretty awesome. You can see how the pellet blew right through the board over there. So it seems like with a well-placed hit, that pellet could have gone through a skull and thus killed a zombie. Bear in mind though that this is a one-shot weapon, so you'd be able to shoot one zombie before it becomes a melee weapon unless you're somewhere they can't reach you. So the verdict on the Daisy 880 or any 177 caliber single shot gun is, you can definitely hunt small game with it with no issue. I wouldn't push it, but as long as you stay within the range of reason, it should keep the food on the table. As far as zombies go, yeah, it'll stop a zombie with a well-placed hit, but unless you're somewhere they can't reach you, you only get one shot. As far as self-defense goes, I wouldn't bank on that shot saving your life. It definitely can kill or stop someone if you place the shot perfectly, but it's a lot easier said than done. I'd say your best bet would be to use the shot to stun or distract someone before rushing them and using the gun as a melee weapon, honestly. The next gun up is the Gammo Swarm in 22. This is a break barrel 22, and it's about what you'd get from most break barrel springers. The pellet I'll be shooting with this one is going to be the Gammo PBA bullet. And the follow-up shot will be with the H&N Barracuda Green. The pellets each went about 8.5 inches into the ballistics gel, so a break barrel 22 would definitely take small game with no problem. You could probably even take raccoons or coyotes with these. I've heard stories of people taking deer with break barrel 22s, but I personally don't think that's right. As far as for defense, I'd say this is usable as a last resort in a tight pinch, and that's only because the Swarm is a multi-shot gun. If it were a single shot, I'd say it'd be similar to the Daisy 880 in that you would shoot once to distract and then, use it as a melee weapon afterwards. See the 3 holes here in the wood where the pellets broke through. They basically just sailed through it like it wasn't even there, so these will definitely kill a zombie. The verdict on break barrel 22s? Any common break barrel 22 can hunt small game and some medium game, no problem at all. As for zombies, yeah, break barrel 22s will work, but I'd recommend a multi-shot one like this Gammo Swarm. And the same goes for defense. If they were single shot, I'd consider them completely inadequate, but a multi-shot gun that allows for follow-up shots works a little better with the performance you saw in the ballistics gel there. In the case of this gun, it cycles almost as quickly as a bolt-action rifle. Just something to think about. Next up is going to be the Gammo Urban, a pre-charged pneumatic 22. And the pellets I'll be shooting are going to be Gammo PBA bullets. As you can see, the pellets from the Gammo Urban zipped right through the entire block of ballistics gel. This block is about 9.5 inches long, so I wasn't able to capture the pellets. If I had to guess, I'd say the pellet would have made it through about 12 inches of gel, which puts it at the bottom end of the acceptable range by FBI standards for self-defense. Now obviously airguns aren't ideal for self-defense, but this can be done. You can actually use this as a weapon in self-protection against other people. Now, there are even more powerful PCP airguns out there that'll do much more damage than this. This is actually considered one of the weaker PCP air rifles. This just goes to show the power of pre-charged pneumatic airguns with modern technology. Zero doubt in my mind these will go through. As expected, the Gammo Urban really had no problem blowing through the fence board at all. I think it pretty much says everything that needs to be said. The verdict on pre-charged pneumatic air rifles? They're likely your best bet to hunt, kill zombies, and protect yourself. They're the most powerful type of airgun, and most PCP air rifles are even more powerful than this one. The one caveat here, though, is that you'd also need a pump to keep it filled. If you lose that pump, this essentially becomes a melee weapon. All things considered, your best bet when picking up an airgun for SHTF would be either a multi-shot break barrel 22 or a pre-charged pneumatic multi-shot in 22 or larger. They serve the purpose of hunting, killing zombies, and if every weapon you have has failed, and it's a choice between your airguns or your fists, self-defense. Again, I'll re-emphasize the point that an airgun will never do a firearms job as well as a firearm will because of physical limitations. But that doesn't mean it can't be a good addition to your arsenal, whether you have firearms or not. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is the Casual Airgunner, signing out.